Okay folks, the first thing I want to do is clear something up here. First of all, I don't grow zucchini in my garden. As they say, any zucchini in your garden is too much zucchini. And I don't eat zucchini unless it's in a cake, and that's only because I can't taste it there. But when it comes to the zucchini chironomid, you can never have enough of those. The trout eat them with relish. I'm fine with that. I don't care what they put in their mouths as long as I'm catching them. So let's get started. I've got a Togen's number 10 curved scud hook here with a 7/64 white bead on it. And I'm going to come in with my 70 denier black tying thread in behind that. And so we're going to get that body started by attaching the thread. Yeah, they sell those zucchini fries at the restaurants as an alternative to the potato fries. And I simply don't understand why anybody would ruin a perfectly good meal with something like that. Anyway, back to the fly. Bringing in some small red UTC wire for the ribbing. And we're going to tuck that away in there into the bead and capture that with the thread. And then work our way down the hook shank, keeping it on the side of the hook. And we go down there and we want to get well into the bend. Now I'll tie these in number 12s, 14s, 16s. If I want them smaller, I just tie them on a 16 hook because I don't like how thin the wire is on those smaller hooks for the bigger trout to catch. This is a great little fly. This is my version of it. Phil Rowley has a version of it. The BC Fly guys have a version of it. This is my version, and I'm sticking with it. I've had great success with it here on the island, and I've taken it to the interior, to the Caribou, Thompson Nicola, and enjoyed some success with it there as well. So it's a great little fly. It's only got a slight variation to it, and I love it. So bring in that black holographic tinsel now, which is the key ingredient to the zucchini chironomid. I think it's the reason that originally got the name, because this black has got some hints of green in it, as well as blue and other stuff, but the green really jumps out at you when you're flashing the stuff in the light. And you know how the zucchini have, you know, a dark green with black markings, and it's just perfectly looks like and evokes the thought of a zucchini, which isn't entirely a great thing to think about. I mean, zucchini. I don't want to think about zucchini, but I like to think about trout on the end of my line, and this makes this a great fly. So I'm going to wrap the black holographic tinsel around the shank of the hook here. Cover that hook shank. We've built up a taper with that black tying thread, so that we've got the profile of a chironomid pupa, slightly thicker at the top end. Now I like my chironomids skinny. I like them really thin, really fit, and that's what I go for in my profile look there. So we've got that wrapped forward now, right up to the bead. I'm going to capture that with a thread. I like to do 3 wraps of thread to capture that, and then I come in. I've learned this from somebody else that does YouTube videos. I like to cut off that excess with a razor tip. Just press it against there and then pull. And we've got a nice clean cut. Now I'm going to wrap that a couple more times and give it a 1/2 inch. And we're going to cut out the black thread. Now this is where my variant comes in. I'm coming in with wood duck in 70 denier for a collar. And that's the only difference between mine and some of the others out there. But you know, to me it seems to work. It suggests the wing buds on a chironomid pupa, and I like it, and it works for me. So we're going to give the wire 5 to 7 wraps here, spiraled around the hook shank. Give it that segmentation, and just break that up. Get into a bit of a nice rhythm there with the evenly sized gaps, and bring it up to that collar. Now we're going to capture that, and that's the small red UTC wire that I'm coming in there with. I just thought I'd repeat that. On the smaller versions, I'll go with the extra small. And then we'll wrap it in front and behind a few times to capture that, so we can helicopter that out of there. And then I'll just build up a little bit behind the bead here to complete that taper. Now I'll give that a whip finish. 5 turns there of the whip finish because I wanted to complete that taper. Cut out that thread. Now I'm using, for a finish for resin, I'm using Gulf in Thin Man. I like the way it preserves the color of lighter threads like this wood duck and when you do burnt orange up there. The Loon Outdoors tends to saturate and somehow it makes it darker. And I don't mind that on dark patterns that don't have the lighter threads, but when I want to preserve the color of something like burnt orange or wood duck or my summer duck Chironomid, then I like this Gulf Thin Man instead. It takes a little longer to, after I've cured it, which I won't show on camera. I give it a coat of Sally Hansen's to keep it from fogging up over time in the fly box. And I just, again, smoothing out that resin all over to keep the thin profile of this fly, really skinny. We'll give it a zap with the UV light and about 15 seconds. Again, hang this one under an indicator and you find your depth, you find your bottom, you crank up a couple of turns from the bottom and let it hang under the indicator. This thing's going to take fish. I fished it with great success here on the island, all the lakes from Victoria north to Campbell River and further abroad, and then in the interior, Caribou, Fawn Lake, Irish Lake, it's produced for me there. It's also produced for me on Tunkwa and other lakes around the Thompson-Nicola region. So there we go, Rick's zucchini, the only zucchini I'll ever plant. Okay, hope you enjoyed this fly. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and share the video with your friends. I'm glad to have you on board. Good luck this tying season and the coming fishing season. I hope you all the best. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.